This video is brought to you by Squarespace. According to Freak, this guy's name is pronounced Akshan, but honestly, from what I've learned, I think it's supposed to be Action, so that's what I'm going with for this video.
Akshan swings into action from the lawless streets of Shurima.
The triangle in Viego's chest is actually where Isolde stabbed him. Action's E heroic swing is based on a scrapped version of Camille's E hookshot. In the lore, Vladimir was actually very close to Viego, so close that Viego called him uncle in-game, and Vladimir even sends him letters to stay in contact.
Hello, Uncle. I'm surprised you haven't been torn apart by an angry mob.
However, after Isolde was poisoned, Viego refused to respond, and ironically, Vladimir could have actually saved Isolde if Viego just got back to him. So if you've learned anything here, it's never leave someone on red. The most popular way to level Action is to max Q first, but he actually has a 3% higher win rate when people max E first. Pantheon and Viego have almost the exact same walk animation. Even though Action has a ridiculous kit, he actually has one of the lowest win rates on release at only 27%, which is pretty dang bad. It's even lower than Yumi's 29% win rate when she was first released. The reason Viego is manaless is because Riot felt it would be too difficult to keep track of mana between transforms. Puppy, did you know Action has a Battle Academia skin? But not for League on PC, it's only available on Wild Rift. Viego is voiced by Sean Teal. Action is voiced by Sunil Malhotra, who has appeared in shows like Grey's Anatomy and The Legends of Korra. Viego has a 0.2% higher win rate in the mid lane than he does the jungle. Here's Action if he was in Family Guy. Viego's visuals were inspired by goth rock and heavy metal singers. Action was inspired by Bollywood action films. Viego had a bunch of scrapped abilities. The first was an ability that allowed him to possess allies and move them around the map. I'm sure your team would have loved that. I can't even imagine how that would have gone over in solo queue. Honestly, maybe it would have been the strategy for carrying your team though. If you can't get a good teammate, just become your teammates. Second was an ability that created pools of black mist. Third was one that allowed him to pass through walls like Kayn. And lastly, he was originally going to have a passive where he started the game with the Blade of the Rune King in his inventory. However, it would have started as a baby Bork, like a little dagger, and then it would have grown into a huge two-handed sword like it is now over time. Did you know Action's Q is called Avengerang? Because I didn't. Also, if you look closely, the Avengerang is just kind of chilling at the bottom of his weapon. The Blade of the Rune King is actually based off a real weapon called the Zweihanda, which is a German longsword. Wow, that accent kind of came out of nowhere. Action's release skin was originally going to be different. It was going to be a Infernal skin or a High Noon skin. Action is 5 feet 10 inches, or to be even more precise, 177.8 centimeters tall. Viego's older brother was Callista's father, which makes her Viego's niece. If you compare Action's W to Amumu's W, it's kind of hilariously sad. One of them resurrects your teammates, gives you camouflage, bonus gold, movement speed, and regen, and the other cries. It's quite literally sad. So do you know how in the lore Viego spreads his mist across all of Runeterra? Well, that concept was originally one of Viego's passive, but for Summoner's Rift. If Viego was in the game, Black Mist would slowly take over the entire rift, and just like now, Viego would be camouflaged when he was in it, which meant later in the game, Viego would just be permanently invisible like Eve. And if you think that's a lot, the mist was actually going to be filled with ghosts and goblins that Viego could summon and use them to attack people with. That would have been interesting, to say the least. Before it was patched in 11.16, you used to be able to swing and be golden at the same time, but now Zhonya's just stops your swing entirely. Viego's kingdom was inspired by Spain and Camelot. Even Viego's country, Camivore, is based on the time period from back then. Action's dance is a reference to an Indian musical video called Mahari. Callista was actually the one who protected Viego from the assassination attempt on him. Instead of a grappling hook, Action almost had tripwires and traps instead. When Viego recalls, he puts on full body armor and a helmet. If Kled ults Action while he's spinning around, Kled will just lock on and keep following him. Viego is called the Ruined King because he was emotionally ruined when Isolde was killed. Honestly, never put that together until now. This isn't really useless, but you can actually ignite your target to make your E focus a champion instead of just hitting everything in its path. It's kinda neat. Viego's quote,
Why, Isolde? Why do you hide your face from me?
is actually a biblical reference to Psalms 44:23 through 24. The average KDA of an action player is 8.8 kills, 6.8 deaths, and 5.9 assists. The average rank of an action main is Silver 1, and the average rank of a Viego main is Silver 2. In the lore, Action's weapon is called the Absolver, and it's a relic stone gun that, as you know, is able to revive those who died by killing their perpetrator. Action was actually revived by his mentor Shadia using the weapon, who herself unfortunately died from a warlord. Ironically, she didn't want Action to use the weapon because she believed life and death should be up to fate, even though she brought back Action with it. So, before she died, the two would travel around Shurima together to stockpile ancient weapons. Action actually met Lucian in Shurima but didn't join the Sentinels at first. However, he later joined because he thought it was the best way to honor Shadia. Action's story is actually very similar to Viego's. They both lost someone they loved and were driven back to get them. But instead of starting a war and becoming a crazy dude, he decided to help fight the crazy dude. What a guy. After Isolde was revived, she told Action to kill her with the Absolver so Senna and Gwen could be resurrected and Viego could turn back to mortal. Action also resurrected Yorick's maiden in the process. When Action was a kid, he was poor and beat to death for standing up for what was right. Oof. After Lucian, Senna, and Thresh's stories were touched up, Rioter August said that they should make the Ruined King next as a joke, but it turned out they really liked the idea, so they went with it. The blade of the Ruined King itself is a royal weapon passed down from king to king. When a new king incarnated, it would absorb part of their soul in order to revive them if they were ever to get seriously injured. So when Isolde stabbed Viego, the blade tried to revive him at the same time with the magic of the blessed water. But it couldn't do it because of the soul part inside of the blade itself. The cycle of healing magic ultimately caused a loop that overloaded, causing the ruination. Action doesn't have any abilities that does AP damage. I don't know why, but someone did. That's all I'll say. That eye twitched though. Since most of Riot's games are fairly new, Action is the first champion to be revealed for League of Legends, Wild Rift, and the Legends of Runeterra around the same time. This guy played Viego with the colors of the rainbow in items. The AP Viego build must have been a very interesting game. Terraria Viego. This person decided to completely draw and redesign Viego. What do you guys think of their concept? There's a spot on Summoner's Rift where if you aim just right with your hookshot, you'll kind of spaz out. This is what Viego looked like before he went crazy. And this is some art done by Riot of what Action would look like in real life. Did you know if you combine the letters in Action and Viego, you can spell the word soakage? Additionally, you can also spell the word vagina. Hey guys, really quick, I wanted to talk about my friends, Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform and the place to go if you're looking to create a website. And I know what you're saying. Who has the time to create an entire website on their own? Well, now you do with the power of Squarespace. Whether it's for a business, a club, or just straight up for yourself, Squarespace is the easiest and best place to get it done. Squarespace is really easy to use and has a bunch of different features to help make creating your website as easy as possible, while still being professional. Just look at all of these different templates they have, all of which are customizable by the way, so you can shape it into the perfect website just for you. They even have a Squarespace member area where you can connect with your members and create some sick members only content. You can add third-party extensions, easily keep track of web page analytics, connect your social media accounts, and on top of all that, you can even purchase the domain straight from Squarespace, which is so nice. So make sure to go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/outside joke to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you again so much, Squarespace, for supporting this channel. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Thanks Joshy Boo for being a tier 3 patron, and I will see you next time. Bye!